Okay, next up we have Mr. Matthew Truman, if you please come to the podium.
All right. So, not to drag on, I prepared this. Good evening, Mayor and Council. First, I'm proud that Huber Heights finally has a Veterans Memorial. I am a combat veteran myself. I'm here due to my concerns of political influence over boards and commissions by some of Huber's politicians. Tonight, I'd like to discuss the issue that was brought up at the last council work session on August the 1st, 2022. I was listening to hear about another item when Mayor Gore introduced the discussion to blend some of the boards and commissions together, namely the Arts and Beautification and the Military and Veterans Commission. He said, and I quote, "The Veterans Commission has not met the last two, maybe the last 3 times. This body had a lengthy discussion about why this should take place. I honestly understand the need. I do. You simply cannot get enough volunteers." Another quote from the mayor was, "We don't get a lot of applicants." He also said, "We just have to have some honest discussion here." Well, I'm here to do just that. Watching the meeting, I was infuriated. A lot of things were said that seemed to me, and I'm sure to others, that some were blaming the citizens for not stepping up. One of the counselors said, "I think the bigger problem here is not council." If I may, you are the supposed leaders and should take responsibility for not delivering on your promises, obligations, and intent. I heard another counselor say, "I think we can find some amazing volunteers if we empower our boards and commissions." I will use this quote to add, if you stop playing politics, there may have been volunteers already in place. One of the very commissions you now have to fold into Parks and Recreation was an idea stolen from community volunteers, many veterans, in fact, in my opinion, over politics. I was a member of an organization called the Huber Heights Veterans Project. I spent thousands of my own personal dollars to help develop this nonprofit. We gathered a team of veterans, citizens, and whomever from council. We invited everyone. A few showed up. I believe because I spoke out on my personal time about some ideas of the city government, we were boxed out. And eventually, Mayor Gore led an initiative to crush us. That became the Military and Veterans Commission. We partnered with other nonprofits to hopefully bring the banners you now see out here on Veterans Parkway, Taylorsville Road. The city manager at the time denied our plan for banners, only to say something along the lines, "We can't pick and choose which nonprofits we work with." This, in my opinion, wasn't the case because shortly before or after, I can't quite remember, the city was partnering with some type of gardening operation that I don't believe even got off the ground. The city most certainly chooses who to partner with, and it's all done behind closed doors. It doesn't matter who it impacts. Even a good, diverse veteran organization willing to work their tails off to raise the money for veterans memorials, banners, outreach, and so much more were denied and essentially eliminated over politics. We took on the endeavor so the taxpayers didn't have to pay for any of it. They're paying for it, over $1 million. When politics bleed in, some politicians' egos can't take it. They don't care where the money comes from as long as the group I headed, HHVP, had no longer a purpose in the city of Huber Heights. That's wrong. Back then, some were telling others it was because the city could do it better. So, if you plan to encourage volunteers and work with nonprofits, I say outstanding. I would also suggest you start anew. First, Mayor Gore, you should apologize to the veterans and the taxpayers of Huber Heights. Why? because you led the Veterans Commission initiative while there was already veterans out there doing the work. You also knew all of the intimate details behind our work. You, with some others, I'm not speaking about the commission who developed your idea, killed our nonprofit. There are some others on this dais and throughout the community who wonder why you have trouble finding people to help. May I suggest you start over today, admit you were wrong, apologize, and never allow politics to block good things from folks who may simply disagree with your proposed legislation or the inventive handling of the charter. Don't let politics destroy nonprofits or push away volunteers. Then maybe I think there will be folks willing to forgive and move forward. That's it.
Matt, as always, appreciate you being here. Thanks for your opinions.
Mayor,
Yes.
Thank you.
can you please state where you live, on what street in Huber?
I don't live in Huber.
Okay, thank you.
I lived in Huber Heights for 37 years. I volunteered for the Parks Cleanup Initiative where you adopt a park way back in '07. I sat on the Charter Review Commission for many months. I volunteered all over the city. Where did you volunteer?
Would you like the list?
Yeah, go ahead.
St. Peter's School, Sunday school teacher, 4-H advisor, picked up trash.
So what do you have to do with this?
Okay, so this is citizens' comments. This is
Mayor,
not-
you invited me
this
up
is
here to
not-
have this
I
discussion,
sure did.
and you
because
don't want to
Mr.
have it.
I invited you to speak your mind and
I
say what
welcome you
comments
to
you
attend a
have.
meeting anytime you like to speak on the matter. We have had Facebook conversations and we've had phone conversations. We've talked about this at great length, and so you got nothing to say.
So, Matt,
Thank you for proving I am right.
you and I have had numerous discussions, private
Right.
discussions, phone calls, and I have been truthful with you, I've been honest with you, and there's nothing that I can say that's going to change your mind. You believe, you had your time. You believe that you know what my intentions were, so you're telling everybody here in this audience and who's watching that you know my intentions, and you don't. There were lots of things that went on,
Okay.
lots of discussion. Everybody on this council, with the exception of Ms. Kitchen, because she wasn't on council, voted yes to approve the formation of the Veterans Commission.
Who wouldn't?
You can go back and watch every news broadcast that was done when the Veterans Commission was formed, and you will hear me say nothing other than we know we have veterans in the community who need services, and there are services available at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base for veterans, and they don't know what's available, and we need to help link them up.
Did
Ms.
you know
Dana,
about what we were doing?
hold on. So you've accused me of a lot of things. I'm going to respond.
Great. And
So-
I'll respond to that.
Ms. Dana Flevey approached me about creating a Veterans Commission. She works at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. In fact, I believe Ms. Flevey is on the Veterans Commission, and she's like the head of all family services at Wright-Pat, nationwide for the Air Force. That was her idea. I turned her over to Rob Schomer. Her and Rob got together. They talked. They're the ones that developed the idea of the Veterans Commission. So there are all kinds of documents that we have. I'll post them out. Well, there's they're on the are they on the public records portal?
No, they're not on the public.
Can you add those to them?
Yeah, I can do that.
So all the documentation, creating the Veterans Memorial, all the backstory that Mr. Schomer's created, all those things are public documents. They're all there for anybody to read, anybody who wants to see them. Over a year ago, October of 2019, you stood at that very podium and you were thankful. You thanked us for creating a Veterans Commission. So I'm not sure where all this comes from and why you're still so angry. We have $1 million Veterans Memorial that is one of the best memorials
That's not what I'm talking about.
anywhere in the region. Okay, so everything else that you're saying is just conjecture and your opinion of something that I've done, and that means you have to know where my heart was at and what my intentions were, and you just don't. You just don't. So as long as you acknowledge that everything you've said is your opinion, well then I have my opinion, but I also have all the documentation, all the records, and there's videos and there's meeting minutes. There's everything that can go back and show exactly how everything was formed.
So
let's talk about the banners.
Hold on. Time out.
Let
me ask you a question
Matt,
real quick.
Matt, I gave you your time.
Okay.
The banner program. Mr. Schomer had a meeting with Keegan Miller regarding the banners. And the cost to lease the poles, the leasing and the fee agreements to lease the poles. So, Brian, we charge, what, $165 for someone to buy a banner? Is that the cost?
Yes, sir.
$165
Yes, sir, that is
for a
correct.
banner. The cost, if the city didn't do it, if we wanted to get the banners up, there were all kinds of lease agreements and fees that went to all the poles because the city doesn't own those. There's DP&L, they own those. Miami Valley Lighting, who manages those. So there are fees. All the costs incurred from city employees, time, hours, labor, manpower, to hang all those. The cost of those banners would be well over $350 for the ones that we put up. So we do it for $165, and that was a decision that Rob had made with Mr. Miller about the banners, because we could do it less, because DP&L would not give free leases for any other outside program or a nonprofit to put things on their poles that they owned. So the decision was made, as far as my understanding goes, I wasn't privy to that meeting, but I know what I was told, that people probably wouldn't spend $350 for a banner, and they would probably spend more than that, or have to spend more than that, in order for that nonprofit to actually make a profit. So they could then donate whatever money or help with the Veterans Memorial or whatever else that it was.
So you don't know the plan.
So
You're
that
just
program-
regurgitating what you were told, right?
Well, at that time,
Okay.
the city manager, I listened to what he said
Right.
and what that conversation was.
And you had to let him go
We've had
over
that,
the memorial, didn't
We've
you?
had that conversation. We've had that conversation in the past. Mr. Miller's name was brought up. We had that discussion, and there was nobody, he didn't come back
Did
to
the
refute.
city manager lie to you about the memorial granite?
I think he said some things that weren't true, yes.
Oh, okay. So maybe, perhaps, I'm not saying he did or he didn't, perhaps he lied about other things as well.
Well, he could have, but I didn't give him an inquisition over
So
it.
you-
I know what he told me. I know how it played out, and nobody had any complaints or problems with it other than you. But
You
I
said
told
you had nothing to do
that's how that happened.
with starting the commission. Is that what you said? That's what
Miss-
you're telling everyone here?
Ms. Plevy approached me.
Okay.
So whatever I've said on video or how that was going to work, I can go back again to the newscast. The purpose
Well,
of
I have documents too,
Okay.
Mayor. This is a text message from you. May I read it?
Sure.
Oh, great. But it was your committee talking to me that started it. I know you took issue with my post about it because you were posting right before the election and trying to get people to see, hey, I did this. I know you took issue with my post about it, but I did lead the initiative to start the commission. And what I said was, and now we're going to see what I believe to be the best memorial in the region. I repeat, I did lead the initiative to start the commission. You led it.
Yes.
It was you.
Like I've told you, Ms. Plevy came to me, and then I gave her to Mr.
That's what you
Schomer
keep saying.
to start. Well, that's what happened.
But
I mean, I don't
you
know
got
what
angry
happened.
because I did a podcast and I talked about certain issues up here, so you crushed our organization. Nobody said
Matt,
you knew we were here.
okay,
How many
so-
updates did we do here?
Matt,
You got to speak.
If that's what you
Why
feel,
can't I have a
if
turn?
that's how you feel, that's how you feel. That is your prerogative, and your opinions are your opinions, but just because they're opinions does not make them fact.
It's fact right
So-
here. You lied and told everybody that you didn't have, she's the one that came to me and,
Yes, she
no,
was.
you led it.
I believe that was in September, October of 2018. Yes,
And you were already talking to us. You volunteered to be our treasurer for crying out loud.
I did. I
Yeah.
wanted to help.
Right. And when you got denied is when you started to change things up a little bit. When you became mayor is when you crushed our organization for your own benefit.
If that's how you feel,
That's how I feel, and a lot of other people feel the same
okay,
way.
well, but that's just not what happened.
Okay.
Have a good one, Matt.
That's exactly how it happened.
Thanks for being here. Glenn?
Mr. Truman, I'll say that I appreciate all the efforts of HHVP. I appreciate the time I spent. I have no concerns about the money I spent. I thought it was all for good purpose. To conjecture, it happens all the time. Don't take that wrong. A lot of people have different beliefs as to why I might have missed a council meeting. But, do your thing. I appreciate your stance on veterans in Huber Heights. You've always had a hard stance pro-veteran in Huber Heights. As a veteran, I really appreciate that.
I appreciate that too. And the reason I'm here and the reason I came and I was proud because I was told by the mayor that this commission is not just going to be about building a memorial. We're going to be helping everybody. We're going to be doing other initiatives and taking care of things because that's what we were going to do. But now you got to fold it in. because your initiative didn't work. And you watched it not work, and now there's veterans that could get help from the city because you took it over, and they won't. And that sucks, and it's wrong.
Like I said, I appreciate your opinion. Any other citizens' comments?
No, sir.